Hi there, this is to walk you through on how to render using the network render farm and rendering a single frame. I'm going to give you a couple tips along the way, so follow along best you can. Alright, here we have a project that we want to do a single frame rendering in 3ds Max Design. We've already opened up the project. We've made all our final fixes and any kind of adjustments that we need to do for our final render. Alright, once this has been done, go ahead and save your project and then proceed. Alright, we'll go ahead and go to Render Setup. Now once you open up Render Setup and you're ready to make your final render after all the changes have been made, one of my suggestions is that you would render at 600 dpi. Now some of the other videos mentioned rendering at 150 dpi or staying below 300. That's because some of the programs like say SolidWorks or Inventor, you don't need to go over 150 dpi, and some of the details are already there that at 150 dpi show off your project the best. Okay, for 3ds Max in a larger scene where there's smaller finite details like say bricks or rocks or certain other elements that you want to show off from your project, you want to go to 600 dpi. Now there's a simple formula for calculating what dimensions you need. So the width of the project that you want to print out on is going to be 17 inches, correct, for 11 by 17 in a landscape aspect. So if you multiply 17 inches by 600 dots per inch, you're going to get 10,200. So enter that in for your width, and then 600 dpi times 11 is going to be 6,600. So we'll enter that in right here. As you can see, it has an image aspect of 1.545. Right. You may not need to have all these calculations together, but if you wanted to go down to 150 dpi, you would just multiply 150 times the width in the height of the dimension of the paper. Say for instance 11 times 150, that would be 1650, and then 17 inches, that's going to be 2550. Alright. You may want to do those if you want to go ahead and print it out and then see what it'll look like initially, and you want it to just render really quick. You might then think about going with a lower resolution so that the project can be processed very quickly and you can see if there needs to be any changes. But this is for your final rendering and getting it ready to print out and put in your portfolio. Alright, besides that, we're going to skip over. There's another element we need to change so that the project doesn't come out too washed out. That's going to be global illumination. You may have enable final gather checked. Go ahead and uncheck this because this will actually slow down the render and processing of the job. So go ahead and uncheck this because it'll seem to wash out the project as well, and we'll have to do some gamma correction, which we can just go ahead and bypass that altogether by unchecking this. Alright, once that's done, we'll go over to, if you notice at the bottom, the view. Make sure that you have selected the view or camera over here in quad 4, the bottom right, is camera 02. Make sure you're selecting your camera that you want to render from. Okay, this is very important. Now, clicking simply render right here will render it locally. So we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to go over to the little breakout area that I have highlighted in yellow here. And you'll notice that there's Submit to Network Rendering. We'll click that. Next, we'll put in the job name. We'll put in a job name that's exclusive to this job that we're submitting. Okay, you can see that I have New House right here. I'm going to go ahead and put New House 2 because I submitted a project earlier under New House that I was processing as a draft job. All right. Enter the manager name. You'll put in Olympus and then click Connect. Once it connects, you can see here that I had a previous job, New House, right here, and it's already complete. If I submitted New House again, it would say that there's a project already in the queue. So just be aware of that. Alright, the next thing we want to do is split scan lines. We want to make sure and check this box right here. I'll uncheck it and recheck it. The reason being is we're submitting this as a split scan line job. Had we submitted it without checking this, it would just submit it as a single job to one single machine. You would have it would process a lot quicker on a local machine than it would sending it through the network render to one machine. There's a lot of details to that, but we're going to go ahead and skip ahead. Now, the next part that's very important is define. Here, what we're going to do is we're going to define the number of strips. Don't worry about doing stripped height. It'll actually calculate that on its own. So the number of strips is very important, which we divvy it up as. Think of how many machines you want to divvy it up between. I would suggest somewhere between the range of 20 and 25. Here you have, I've listed 25. Overlap, just leave that as 1. And go ahead and delete temporary images upon completion. Go ahead and keep that checked. Next, click OK. Just reaffirm all your settings here. I tend to check ignore scene path and check include maps as well. And then just verify that it's connected up to the manager, and everything's ready to go. Once it's all ready to go, hit submit. The other thing that I suggest that you have open is the back burner queue monitor. You can normally find that in the start menu under monitor, or look under Autodesk and back burner and monitor. Okay, but you can just simply type in the start button and type in monitor, and you should be able to find it. Most of you that have gotten this far in Portfolio should know how to connect up to the monitor. In case you did forget, I'll illustrate right here. I'll go ahead and disconnect from it. Then you'll see this little connection button right here. Click connect, type in Olympus, and then hit OK. Once you do connect, you'll see that your job is listed, and it should be green. If it's showing up red, that means the job has errored and that you may have a path problem. Okay? If it does show up red, highlight the job like I have selected here. Go over to the Errors tab and look for the errors. At this point, I would contact tech support and see if there's anything that they can help you out with in this regard. Now back to our job here. Go ahead and highlight the job again. And to verify that it's connected and processing, we'll go to Task Summary. Here you can see that it's already been assigned to a series of machines, and you can see also that it's already completed on several machines. Once it's completed all the way, it'll skip to the second part of the job. This is second pass. What second pass does is it stitches the job. Once this part of the process has been finished, then your printout is finished altogether. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and go to where the place that I've saved my project. If you'll notice that it hasn't finished processing yet, and it has all these little JPEGs. These are strips of the whole render. Okay? We won't be able to print it out until the job is completely finished. But normally, you can open up the job, preview the job. If it looks to your liking, you can go over to print, select the printer that you would like, paper size. Now you may not see 11 by 17, but you can go to more and you'll be able to see the different sizes of paper here. Under quality, go ahead and go to 600 dots per inch. That's basically what you rendered at, so you want the best print. Right? So select 600 dots per inch. You may need to check fit picture to frame or uncheck it depending on how you like the preview in the window. I'm going to go ahead and check this, and then you can click print. If you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and see tech support and we may be able to help you out with those concerns. Thank you very much.